War. War never changes. This is probably one of the most iconic phrases ever uttered in the video game industry. Developed by a group of crazy geniuses at Black Isle Studios right at the end of the 20th century, the first two games are bona fide cult classics. And for a good reason. They had a crazy large open world where you can go anywhere and do anything. You can save humanity or doom it and destroy the last remnants of it. You can play it for 100 hours or beat the game in 6 minutes. In Fallout, combat is turn-based, tactical, but it's also very fluid and doesn't feel rigid at all. It takes you a couple of minutes to get the hang of it, but it's so good you won't get tired of it 100 hours in. That's the mark of quality and the ultimate proof that Black Isle really had something back in the day. What's more is that every weapon can be used in multiple ways. You can punch or kick, stab or throw, shoot a single bullet or do a burst. And of course, who can forget VATS, the ultimate invention of Black Isle, the Vault-Tec targeting system. Sure, the game was made in the Clinton years, and some people may treat it like something from the Middle Ages or Roman times, but in actuality, the first two games in the series really hold up, gameplay and quality-wise. First one is considered to be darker and grittier than the second one, but the second is way bigger than the first one. The real reason why the second one doesn't feel as dark and mature is because it was segmented in development with different teams working on different areas and quests. And so, some places are the same atmosphere-wise as the original, whereas others can feel cartoonish. Therefore, the first game presents a clearer vision that developers wanted to show us. Originally, the game was to utilize the GURPS system, which helped the early game develop its RPG form. Sometime later, the developers decided to create their own system called Special that exists in modern Fallouts to this day. The system is so simple yet complex, the perks that were introduced in the first game inspired and influenced a lot of RPG titles. And all of that happened to be included in just one game. So many big and small revolutionary things. In a spiritual successor of a game called Wasteland. If you want to understand the game's tone, then you just have to look at Vault Boy. He perfectly encapsulates the chilly humor and gritty atmosphere of the post-apocalypse. This is the Fallout we know, with movie references, dark humor, unforgiving environments, and deadly dangers of this mutated world. As Vault Boy shows us, the violence in this game is mature, alluring, and even can be intentionally hilarious. This is how the game presented the very serious themes of slavery, murder, sex trafficking, paranoia, drug abuse, child killing, ethnic cleansing. You don't even need to be a gamer to realize that these themes aren't used in modern gaming anymore because they're too extreme, but Fallout 1 went all the way in. One comment on my channel put it very eloquently. Making a Fallout video is a rite of passage for any nerd who loves the series. And I intend to pass this exam, so stay a while and listen, my good friend, because you and I are going to have an adventure of a lifetime. I remember the first time I saw this game. The disc was circulating around the class in my school with the unofficial translation, because it was a pirated copy and none of us could speak English in the 5th grade very well. I remember going to my friend's place and being blown away by the graphics and mechanics of Fallout. And then one day, it was my turn to get the disc and install it. And nothing was the same since that moment. It was a cult classic without me knowing what cult classic really is. You see, there was no internet back in the day, so you can't tell if a game was good or bad. The only denominator was the marketplace that was my school, where people were split into different groups. One group preferred action games like Counter-Strike or Unreal Tournament. Other played adventure games like Full Throttle or Monkey Island. Some people exclusively played strategy games, and some, like me, lived to play RPG games. Unfortunately, playing RPG games and being underweight meant that you weren't going to be the first pick in the basketball team. But it was fine, I handled the school well, all the while being an RPG fanboy. But with installing Fallout for the first time, looking at the concept art inside the disc, I knew I was about to get blown away by this bleak world that was about to make me its bitch. And to understand my and many other people's fascination with the Fallout series, we should go back to its original roots and play the very first game that taught us about the nature of war. I suppose I don't need to tell you the plot of Fallout, you've probably heard it through pop cultural osmosis, but if not, I'll indulge you. You are a vault dweller. As you can guess, you live in a vault. It's literally in the name, come on. Your vault is a very good one. The one that survived the literal apocalypse that happened because of the resource war between America and China. Man, if this is our future, I suggest you start digging up your backyard now. But anyway, your community is self-sustainable due to the wonders of technology and the fact that everyone is wearing blue jumpsuits that were inspired by Flash Gordon and Blue Man Group. But then bam! A breakdown! Your water chip is busted and everyone's fucked unless someone ventures out there to look for a spare. Are you bad enough, dude, to save your entire tribe of blue One Piece people? Has to be you because you're the character from the cover. No, not this one. This one. Anyway, they drew lots and they sent you. But sending just one world dweller to fix your problems hardly seems effective. It's like sending one Leon Kennedy to save the US president's daughter. I mean, this is America we're talking about. You have enough weapons to kill God, and you're sending just one me with a pistol? Bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. How about I take your whole arsenal of weapons and a couple of traveling companions to serve as my thralls to entertain me on one of them slow nights? Oh, no, they closed the door behind me. Damn it. Well, I guess I'll go get the chip then. Thank you very much. The journal tells me that the first place I should go and check for the water chip is your mom's house. Haha, got him! But no, seriously, I need to go to World 15. Just gotta take care of the iconic rats in the basement problem and I'll be off. Woo! On the way to World 15, we find a settlement called Shady Sands. Yawn, what an amazingly original name for a settlement. It's up there with The Den, Junktown, or The Hub. But I guess that's the point, that even characters with 1 point of intelligence would get their function. And yes, you heard me, characters with low intelligence have completely different dialogues written for them. You won't be able to hire companions, won't be able to pass speech checks, and you won't be able to complete certain quests. Amazing what developers were doing in 1987. Another thing that Fallout 1 and 2 did well is preserving legacy. Lore, setting, everything is consistent. What's more is that in Fallout 2 we get to meet some characters from the previous game, starting with Shady Sands incidentally. Tandy is a character that returns in Fallout 2. Let's look at how she looks in the sequel. Ah! Anyway, usually every city is self-contained, so you won't have to pinball around the hubs to play errand boy to some Brahmin baron. Generally, you just sweep the location for all the quests, go finish them, and return for your reward. There are approximately 33 quests in Fallout 1. They range in difficulty from simple Pony Express quests to intricate ones that span the length, breadth, and depth of the Wasteland. Let's see how we can make ourselves useful here. First, let's talk to Jafar here. Maybe he needs us to retrieve his magic lamp. Oh, nope. He just welcomes us into his community. Later, dude. Oh, we can improve Shady Sands agriculture if our science skill is greater than 40%. This is the first instance of the entire franchise for well-known skill checks. It all started here, ladies and gentlemen, from humble roots of Shady Sands corn and cabbage. This guy's name is Ian, and he's the first recruitable companion in the game. If your intelligence is at least 4 and you have good speech skill, we can hire him for free, which I'm sure all my communist and socialist viewers would approve of. Okay, what else? There's a red scorpion problem that needs solving. Boom boom boom, done. Don't forget to loot all the red scorpion tails. We'll be making some dildos, I mean some antidote to help the local doctor here. Let's heal this guy and get some exp. Voila! And that is it for Shady Sands for now. Let's haul ass to World 15. Only need to grab this rope. Thank you, everyone. I'll be back. If there is something I hate more than desert biomes, it's ruins. One of the most uninspiring places of early game, to be sure. 3 levels of nothing but rats, big rats, and mole rats. We use this rope to drop down the elevator shaft, kill everything on the floor, get another rope, drop down again, and here we are, level 3. This wonderful location gives us leather jacket, SMG, and information that we should look for water chips someplace else. I will gladly oblige. Let's leave this uninspiring shithole behind us and never return. Until the sequel, that is. Oh, look at this perfectly normal location in the video game that isn't filled with pop culture references and Easter eggs. Nothing to see here. This is an instance of random encounter, which is a big thing in Fallout 1 and 2. You can encounter all sorts of things, from talking cows to alien spaceships. Their usefulness varies, but it's always nice to catch a break from the Wasteland. I am back, Shady Sands. You're welcome. I sense that there's something that requires our attention here. Remember Jafar? He wants us to find his daughter that was taken by raiders. For no reason in particular, I really hope she's on the pill. There are no other quests here, so let's bounce. Okay, so this is the place where they keep Tandy. Time to choose how we're going to approach this situation. Guns blazing or stealth? I think I got a better idea. Here's a fun fact for you. If a Vault Dweller is male, wearing leather jacket and has a luck of at least 9, the raiders will mistake him for Garl's father, the previous leader of the Khans, before Garl killed him. As it so happens, I got 10 luck. I'm going in. Guess who's back with a pack of smoke straight from the grave, Garly boy? Can you name me at least one other game that has this much fun with the characters? Pretending to be dead dad of a killer son who I'm sure I traumatized by beating him regularly and who killed me afterwards. This is just too much. Thank you, Fallout. This is how you do quests. It's time to assume my absolute authority and let the girl go. You can, of course, fight your way through the hordes of raiders, but this isn't Fallout 3, you can just Patrick Swayze your way out of the situation. Unlock the door and go. And nobody is going to stop us. By the way, these people who murder, steal and kidnap people, they're cons. The very same cons that appear in New Vegas. Only there, they are completely toothless and act like a trailer park family instead of bloodthirsty killers they're supposed to be. This is one of the reasons why I kill cons every New Vegas playthrough I do. I just can't shake off the feeling that they can revert to their old tricks anytime. Because psychologically abusing and torturing Tanzi? That's my job, motherfuckers. But they are too much for me now. I will be back with better armor and more companions. For now, our work here is done. Collect the reward and off to Junktown. See, this is a bigger town than before. Here we have Dr. Mengele with a no-no basement. Oops, I'm sorry, I thought this was a bathroom. Also we have a hotel, a small gang of miscreants, a fat fuck who's a mafia boss around here and controls the casino, and the mayor with department store and frontier justice character. What a nice bunch. But first I could really sleep in a hotel for once. The comfort, the safety, the civilization touch guarantees that nothing bad happens. Something bad happened. Apparently it's a hostage situation and yours truly is going to defuse it with my impeccable speech checks. The whore is saved and my high regard of human life earned me a freebie of her services. But I must remain pure for my one and only overseer. I mean, have you seen his eyebrows?
Whoa, mama!
Now let's proceed to the main course of Junktown. The standoff between Killian and Gizmo. Batman and Joker. Only in this case, Batman is running a mom and dad, pun intended, store, and Joker is so fat that the Fallout targeting system considers him to be a part of his desk. So we need to choose between them and the game makes it look like it's difficult, but it's really not. I'll tell you why. Originally, the endings were reversed. Gizmo was to be the person who would make Junktown a thriving hub of humanity, and not Killian. Killian would be too lawful good to make the industry flow and the wheels greased. He would discourage trade and slowly grind Junktown into the dust. But these endings were deemed to be unsatisfying and we got something more heroic. I can't seem to bring myself to join Gizmo because if I choose him, I feel that the natural causes would get to him faster than I will collect my reward from him. So Killian it is. I need to either plant a bug or wiretap the conversation when he talks about PG-13 things like murder, extortion, gambling and prostitution. What a time to be alive. After the fateful recording, we go back to Killian and present the evidence that will do him in. As a cherry on top, we get to arrest the fat ass ourselves if we want some extra money, which I happily oblige since the Gizmo has unique death animation. Oh, that's it. No gibbs flying, no nothing. Next time perhaps. With a sense of letdown, I'm leaving this town. Also, for movie referencing reasons, a small pooch started following me when I was wearing a leather jacket. His previous owner was tall, dark-haired, wearing a dark leather jacket and carrying a shotgun. The pooch's name is Dogmeat, another companion that will follow me around. I don't mind at all, the more the merrier. It's time for us to go to the hub. Welcome to the biggest city in the game. We've got Merchants Guild, Thieves Guild, Water Guild, Caravan Guild, Mercenary Guild, all kinds of guilds. It is here, at the Water Barons, we can discover that Necropolis, a place that is run by ghouls, has a functioning water chip. That's one less headache to take care of. Meanwhile, let's see what quests we can find here. First of all, a little foreshadowing. We need to find out what happens with missing caravans. There's a company that is named after the founder of Interplay, Brian Fargo, Fargo Caravans. They got problems. Lots of their caravans are going missing, so we need to ask around what exactly has been happening to them. Incidentally, the town crazy knows what happened to the whole thing. But first he introduces us to one of the most iconic characters of the Fallout franchise, Harold the Ghoul. In a comic book fashion, he tells us his origin story, which seems unimportant, but that's far from the truth. Because he will reveal the ultimate fate of his companion, Richard Grey, the main antagonist of the game. But more on him later. Harold explains that it's a Deathclaw that's been harassing the caravans, and he tells us its main weakness, the eyes. But that's simply not true, because I've seen enough Fallout porn to know that it has a giant cock, but let's try the eyes just in case. Now to get back to the town crazy who can lead us to the cave. The tip about the Deathclaw's eyes proves to be the saving grace of this combat encounter. So long, gay Bowser. But what's this? A dying super mutant. It turns out that they were behind missing caravans. They were kidnapping people to turn them into mutants. What a twist. The mutant is dead, we got our proof and can get back to the hub. Thank you for caps, I'll see you never. Ah, Maltese Falcon, a bar, a casino, and a hitman paradise if you're into killing innocent people. There's this guy called Decker who straightforwardly asks us to kill an innocent family. But I remember one quote from a character in the Fallout universe. Waging war against the good people is bad for the soul. Which is why I'm going to expose the assassination group to the police. And they asked me to render support to their bust operation. I'd be right happy to. Since I got this new armor, the bust operation works like a charm. Everyone's killed, including the police officers that went with me. Well, no harm, no foul. I don't condone killing, but stealing in the Fallout universe is a-okay by me. What a great joy it is to know that there's a thieves guild in the hub. Their initiation quest involves me stealing a necklace from a wealthy person without killing anyone. That's a deal. I bullshit my way with speech check with the doorman, and I'm in. But here's the pickle. As soon as I enter this door, the guy is going to talk to me and kick me out. I'm fucked, right? Nope, not at all. Being a Fallout veteran means you know how to use its mechanics to cheese your way through everything. So I just enter combat mode to avoid engaging in a dialogue. And here's the lockbox. It explodes because I'm a shitty locksmith, but I got what I needed. Okay, so I'm back to the Thieves Guild, and now that I'm done with my initiation, surely this lovely group of people are going to supply me with more quests. And that's all the quests they have. Just one. Just that one. Wasted potential, if you ask me. But then again, the hub has in total 1/3 of all Fallout quests, so it's not that bad. We'll do half of them. Well, we already did almost half, but we'll leave that for later. We need access to the Brotherhood's base and better gear to help Irvin. Other quests are either guarding the caravan, which will waste the precious time, or either blackmail or kill people, which I don't feel like doing. One thing I forgot to do in Junktown is to hire Tycho, another recruitable companion who is one of the better ones in the game. Incidentally, his description served as the foundation for the NCR Rangers in New Vegas, because he's a desert ranger himself. Another quest that you can do here is to find incriminating evidence on the Skulls gang. And this is something we can complete using speech checks as well. There's one member of the gang that wishes for a better life, and we exploit her weakness into our advantage. We convince her to testify against her quote-unquote friends, and can bring the proof to the chief of security. Okay, now we can leave Junktown for good and have ourselves a raider safari. Told you I'll be back. This time I will not spare a single raider, because we have not one, but 2 sex workers to save. These raiders are sporting spears and desert eagles. Of course, they are no match against 4 horsemen of the post-apocalypse. Always a pleasure to fight weaker enemies that come at you in droves. One problem though, they killed my doggy. But I'm not going to save scum and revive him. Instead, I'm going to eliminate those fuckers with extreme prejudice. This is for dog meat, you fucks. Revenge exacted, and the location is now raider free. It is time to look for allies in my quest. I am talking, of course, about the Brotherhood of Steel. If you know anything about Fallout, then you know that the coolest armor in the game belongs to the Brotherhood of Steel. Well, after the Enclave, of course, but they are not present in the first game. Anyway, these fine gentlemen tell me if I pass a small test, they will let me through and give their set of armor. The test is simple. Go to the location of a direct nuclear strike, get inside the crater, ingest enough radiation that would be too much even for deviant artists to draw sketches about, and retrieve one shiny floppy disk. A fucking floppy disk in the nuclear strike crater. All this shit for something so small and mundane. Small and mundane. Sounds like an excellent title for a sex tape. Anyway, I guess I could drive by and see what's up. But not now. Now I need to see what's up with Boneyard. Welcome to Los Angeles. Now everyone who lives here is even more sad and desperate than before, which I thought wasn't possible. There's a lot of shit going on. First of all, the local settlement is told to be coming under constant attacks of a gang called Blades. Kidnappings, murders, the whole enchilada. But here's the twist. Nobody, except for the guards, hasn't seen these murders or kidnappings taking place. Only the guards, called regulators, are certain that it's the Blades who's responsible. But you know, this whole settlement looks a lot like labor camp that is controlled by these people. And you know, I think I saw a plaque at the main gate that says, "Work sets you free." Not making any conclusions, but I think these are bad people. Let's do some detective work. Okay, the detective work is done. I just had to talk to one person. It's actually the regulators who are responsible for instilling fear into the hearts of Boneyard people. They make up these stories of terror to keep a tight grip on the commoners. Blades are the good guys. Who'd have thought? I mean, how can something named after Wesley Snipes can be a bad thing, right? Now the task is to supply weapons to these Blades to make the fight against regulators more fair. Luckily, we have our resident gun runners, called gun runners, trademarked and sent. Their price is super fair. They'll give us their best guns in exchange for me killing all the deathclaws that are squatting in a nearby apartment. Time for an eviction notice. Got all of them on the ground floor, but there's one more downstairs. Mama Claw. She makes the best bear claws in the neighborhood. Go for the eyes, boo. Go for the eyes. After committing matricide, I think that's how it's called, I'm done with the quest and gunrunners return the favor. Also, I got myself a nice discount, so I bought combat armor. Always wear protection, as my dad says. Time to liberate the labor camp. I'm always up for some good old carnage, and seeing gunrunners' weapons in action is a pure joy. I don't even have to make a single shot, but yet I try. And after we're done killing people, lots of them, it is time to loot and talk to survivors. Oh, I got a sniper rifle. This is the weapon I will be carrying until the end of the game, so good thing I found it just in time. And this guy claims that if I have power armor, he can reinforce it with some chemicals. It's good that I'm now going to complete that silly Brotherhood of Steel quest. Just gotta head back to the hub real quick to buy some drugs against radiation, otherwise I'm going to become a puddle of radioactive piss. If you ever wanted to visit the aftermath of nuclear holocaust, seek no further. Bring your kids with you. The Glow is the place for you and hundreds of unlucky souls that were sent here by the cheeky Brotherhood of Steel, that in actuality didn't want any new recruits, and the Glow's radiation always takes care of them just as gently as chloroform took care of my high school crush. And while the Brotherhood is having a laugh for sending me here, I'm going to science the shit out of this situation. What we need is 2 doses of Rad X. These pills will help us a lot in the upcoming radiation gauntlet that awaits us. What I did like is that all the dead bodies that are lying around here are rightfully called losers. Which means that the Brotherhood's joke quest has been going on for a while now. But that's not going to stop me. I'm the fucking chosen one. Oh wait, no, that's Fallout 2 character. I'm just some guy. The Glow is heavily inspired by Doom, because we get to use colored keycards just like in that game. So far so good. No enemies, some loot, and good laughs were had by all. Because we know that the real Brotherhood quest was the radioactive friends we made along the way. Incidentally, the holodisc we needed for the quest is located on the first floor. I just decided to fuck around and see if I can salvage more shit. Unfortunately, when I came down to the lowest level, I realized my repair skill wasn't high enough to restore power to the facility. So it was all for nothing. Oh well, so long, and thanks for all the radiation. And that's it, we're done with the Glow. That was easy, right? If you know what you're doing, you can complete this quest on level 1 and get power armor quickly. I'm in no rush, I'll get there on my time. Well, time to get my power armor. I just have to turn in the quest and no power armor for me. Because I need to improve my reputation by completing quests. Thankfully, there's one we can do right now. We just need to rescue an initiate from another hostage situation, this time in the hub. Meanwhile, we should loot some shit lying around and go to the 3rd floor. Right over here, we need to talk to Dr. V. She's in charge of the scientific branch of the Brotherhood. We can shoot some shit, but what's of vital importance is her research on the super mutants. We ask her for a copy of her autopsy report and she gives it to us. It's a surprise tool that will help us later. Thankfully, we now know the hub like the back of our hand, so I know which house we haven't visited yet. This is the place where they keep the initiate, where they torture him by playing Baby Shark song on repeat and tickling his toes. I'm having none of this. I'm going to introduce them to wonders of VATS technology and superiority of shots aimed at the eyes. Yummy. The initiate is surprised that somebody passed that ridiculous test that killed so many people. Well, I'm not some people, I am... some guy. Some guy with power armor. Because now we saved the initiate's ass, the Brotherhood authorized 1 set of armor for yours truly. Just so you know, we now have the endgame armor and weapon. So nothing can stop us now, except a direct hit with a rocket launcher. Now let's go get ourselves a water ship. Necropolis, here I go. But I feel like I'm forgetting something. Now that we're in Necropolis, we get introduced to 2 equally important things. Super mutant invasion and my tardiness. You see, if you don't visit Necropolis in the first 110 days of the game, it gets destroyed by the mutants. Every town gets invaded after a while. First Boneyard and Hub, then Brotherhood and Junktown, and lastly Shady Sands and Vault 13. However, all but Necropolis invasions were cut out of the game, and you can see the consequences of invasion only in the ending slides. Necropolis was supposed to be a community of ghouls, which I'm sure you're familiar with. But these ghouls, in this city, were very paranoid of humans, unwilling to let them in and thrive together. They weren't necessarily evil, certainly not planning to invade other cities, but I can't say anything good about them either. Them being gone isn't going to make me shed a tear, that's for sure. So this is how it's played out. We got muties across the board and everyone is killed. Oh well, Necropolis only had 3 quests, so there's not too much harm done. At least now nobody is going to stop us from taking the water ship. which happens to be here in Vault 12. Some FBI agents are still alive. Not on my watch. All this way we came to finally get the blasted chip. Finally we can get back to Overseer and ask him to let us in. Peace out, Necropolis. Now you became an actual dead city. The water chip is working and everyone is saved. But if so, why isn't this an end to the video? There's still a long way to go. I'll tell you why. It's because this old fuck Overseer crunched some numbers and came to a conclusion that a super mutant invasion is imminent. You can probably guess where this is going. Asking to find a piece of scrap is one thing, but stopping an army is well above my pay grade. Problem is, the Overseer seems not to care about my feelings, which are currently hurt. I swear, if he's going to do something crazy after this, like exiling me, I'm going to be seriously pissed. Whatever, let's bounce. We've got ourselves 2 stops, Mariposa military base and the Cathedral of Happiness. Off we go! This is where the military developed forced evolutionary virus before the apocalypse. This is also the place where the Master was born. This virus, FEV for short, was discovered by Richard Gray when he made an oopsie and fell into one of the vats himself. This event disfigured him and sped up the evolution of his body, making him a mutated abomination of sorts. But it also gave him superior intelligence, bigger cock, just about 1 inch though, nothing major, don't think about it, unlimited subscription to Spotify, and an ambition to turn the entire Wasteland into super mutants so that they all could listen to his playlist. Or something. His ultimate goal though is to find vaults, just like the one we lived in. Because humans there were not subjected to radiation and fare better in the vats than your ordinary Wasteland people. As you can probably guess, the Overseer will not like this. And I know better than to cross that bushy eyebrow fuck, so we'll have to take the whole Master operation down. And look at these Brotherhood beefcakes. What I did is to talk to the Brotherhood's elders and they authorized 3 knights to accompany me in my quest to destroy the laboratory and decimate the forces of the Master. One tiny problem though, those assholes refuse to go inside with me to be useful. Effective today, aren't we? Assholes. There's another problem. My companions die violent deaths if they go with me and fight super mutants. Looks like I'm going to have to pick up the slack for everyone. Isn't that nice? Look here, these are force fields. Red ones you can go through, but they deal some damage. But the yellow ones you can't pass. You either have to blow them up with explosives, or have high enough repair skill to switch them off. Luckily, I have both. Oh, poor mutants, why must we fight so? Okay, level 1 finished, let's go down. A brief stop, I don't want to engage the full locker room of super mutants. This guy with extremely small cranium is guarding an enormous pharmacy of stim packs and other good stuff. Let's raid the place and go to level 3. But hold on, in between my mutant manslaughter, there's this weird couple. A woman is held hostage and a nightkin is guarding her. Don't worry, young lady, I'll save you. What is this? She tells me I'm a monster for killing her boyfriend? She says he's her friend, her lover, and her world. I don't wanna know how that works, but I'm sorry, lady. As I recall, he shot first. I killed him in self-defense. But I can't wait. I'll let you grieve in peace. Now we have something. The vats are here. This is where the Master conducts his conversion therapy and makes people into super mutants. I consider conversion therapy a barbaric method and it has to be destroyed. Luckily, it's relatively easy to do. There's a control room full of purple people who won't hurt you if you don't shoot them, so it's okay. There's a terminal you need to use signs on, and voila! Access granted. Now for the security codes. You can attempt to hack the firewall to understand the meaning behind numbers, but I say fuck it, let's just pick one line of code at random. Okay, it says here that I have 300 seconds to leave the place. Don't need to tell me twice, I'll leave without a trace. Except for all the dead mutants I left on the floors and one misguided woman, but I don't want to disturb her again. There was one guy I forgot to introduce you to, Lieutenant. One of the best super mutants the Master ever created. According to Chris Avalon, the Lieutenant potentially became more intelligent from his FEV treatment. He is a secondary antagonist of the game, so rather important. Pretty verbose and dedicated to the cause. I didn't include him in my playthrough because he was simply too powerful for me. You can talk to him and either engage in a boss fight or give in to his attempt to recruit you and tell him the location of your vault and become super mutant yourself. I just decided to skip the boss fight and proceed to the terminals. I'm sure he doesn't mind. But he's an excellent character, to be sure. Alright, code set, laboratory escaped. Time to party down, gentlemen. I did it. Let's just wait and see what happens. Oh shit, I died. I was supposed to go away from this location. Okay, let's try again. Yahtzee! We blew up the proverbial popsicle stand, and now the last location I haven't visited yet is the Cathedral of Happiness. Last level of the game, here I go. Welcome to the fuck palace of the master. This place is huge. We've got 2 levels above ground and 4 levels underground. The master is located on level 3, and this is where we're headed. The goal of the master is to set up hospitals all over the US to make people accumulate enormous debt in medical bills, so they would have to join the funky circus of this freak to wipe away the debt. I also forgot to tell you about followers of the apocalypse. It's a group of like-minded people that really reminds me of the Brotherhood of Steel, because their goal is also accumulation of knowledge and technology. And just like the Brotherhood, they also think that the Master is the ultimate danger in the Wasteland, so they gave me a group of people to help me with my goal. Very convenient, I should say. It gets lonely out there in the battlefield, so I'm grateful for all the help I can get. So let's invite ourselves inside the cathedral. There's a spy of the followers of the apocalypse. She shows us the door which leads to the Master's bedroom, which I'm going to quietly infiltrate using loud explosives to open the door. There's a super mutant guarding the staircase, but I'm going to introduce his insides to my sniper rifle. Here's the problem. As soon as I blow up the door and kill the mutie, everybody inside the cathedral instantly aggroes on me. But this is just a congregation, they don't even have weapons. And I am strongly against fighting unarmed people. But if they stand between me and the master, then... And at this very moment, something critically important crossed my mind. Could you become pacifist in this dangerous post-apocalyptic world? I'm looking at my hands, and I see that these are the hands of a cold-blooded killer, not a savior. I did so many things wrong, but maybe this is my chance. Could you, perhaps, heal the earth instead of soaking it with blood of not-so-innocent people? Can you take the high road and just let go of the hatred? So anyway, I started blasting. Well, that just happened. I guess I'll move along and go and see what the master is up to. Down we go! Now we're starting to get closer to the master's private chambers. There's a guy standing guard, and I can't pull the bathroom card anymore. Speech checks won't work on him. From this point forward, it's going to be a long combat gauntlet. Companions will likely die, and for me, it will be a one-way ticket, perhaps. You've probably guessed that this is, too, a vault. Los Angeles Vault, or better known as Demonstration Vault. This is the Master's main base of operation. This level is the easiest one, not many enemies and straight road to level 2. Ooh, here's another lore dump, my dear viewer. Long-term exposure to FEV gave the Master the ability to penetrate mental defenses of other people. He is a fucking psychic, and he will attack me with his long and hard mental reach. So because of that, I need a nullifier to dampen the sexual arousal that is coming from him. Lore-wise, he developed psychic powers that he wants to pass on to other people. And if you think it's weird to see a paranormal bullshit in hard science game, then this is what Joshua Sawyer said about psychers. A little bit is okay, and it feels like if we're going to accept some of the wacky science of the setting, we're already off the rails of strict realism. That said, I think it's best if it feels alien and remains more or less unexplained. Unexplained it is. Thankfully, I don't even have to kill innocent people to get the nullifier. One of the local loons anointed me with the crown, so now I can resist my sexual urges to give myself to the master and become his fuck toy. This is all canon, believe me. Mutants to the left, mutants to the right. I'm all alone now, nobody will help me draw the fire. I try to carefully move so that Mr. Handies and mutants in the left room won't notice me. It sort of works as only a handful of them are drawn to me. And now for mutants and followers with plasma pistols. Nothing I can't handle. And then finally, there he is. My sexual Tyrannosaurus. Richard Gray, better known under his porn star name, The Master. Now I ask you, what is more satisfying? Simply killing the Master with weapons, or destroying him with facts and logic like Ben Shapiro? I think you know the answer. Being a cybernetic mutant, the Master spent more than 50 years cultivating his army of mutants, thinking that they will become the next biological step in human evolution. But I destroyed his entire plan with 2 words. No bitches. The guy completely forgot to design female mutants, but maintaining 50 years of celibacy, who can blame him? After all, he is the ultimate incel. Then I present my surprise tool, the autopsy report of Dr. Ree of the Brotherhood of Steel. According to her, mutants are completely sterile. Likely they had a vasectomy to play more video games in spare time. The science has spoken. FEV doesn't work. The Master is speechless. His entire plan was rendered worthless by one literal who and one floppy disk. Imagine the work of your lifetime being undermined by an immigrant in a Blue Man Group jumpsuit. I would probably want to kill myself. Which he does. I mean, props to Master for accepting his fate and not trying to Todd Howard his way out of it. Guess I made him sad. He believes that he committed so many atrocities that not even Los Angeles District Court is going to acquit him on all charges. Speaking of charges, the game tells me that now I have 240 seconds to get the fuck out or I'm going to get promoted to a dead person. No problem, my eldritch amigo, I will make like Usain Bolt and get the hell out.
Your involvement with the various places and people of the Wasteland is well documented by future historians. Only a single question remained unanswered. What happened to you?
Oh boy, did you actually think there's going to be a good ending to your story? Psych, motherfucker. You are being backstabbed by the Overseer whose orders we were following, oh, I don't know, the entire fucking game? And now he tells me that I'm exiled because I'm too cool for school. He says that I will become an end to the Vault. My bad influence will make the youngsters look up to me and want to repeat my glory days of Watership adventures. And then what? I will exsanguinate the Vault, because every Joe will want to live the life I lived. Out there, in the wilds, instead of the comfort of enclosed spaces, rationed food and the tight grip of the Overseer. When I first played the game, I thought, what a giant asshole, I did everything for you and your community and you just sent me away. But then I realized that he had a point. See, I wanted to open the Vault, so that the people would decide for themselves if they should go out and explore life to the fullest, or stay inside like Hikikomori. I am the catalyst that would become the precursor to the Vault's ultimate demise. Because who the hell would want to stay and spend their entire life as a shut-in without seeing what life can bring you? Is that everything that real life can bring us? I mean, what about us? We study, then go to work, go home, and that's life. But that's not the problem with real life. The problem is that we rarely get to go out there to experience the adventures like the Vault Dweller had with the Watership. We don't get enough real life in our lifetime. And that was Fallout, one of the greatest RPGs to ever grace this earth. I can't put my finger on why it's so good. There's a combination of many different elements. Maybe because the story was so well told, or maybe because it was brutally unforgiving. Bleak atmosphere and lore of the world certainly helped a lot. And I think it is even more replayable than Fallout 3 or 4, again, for many reasons. It wasn't afraid to bare teeth and touch upon very serious topics that are now being avoided due to extreme controversy. Its skill system allowed for nigh infinite playthroughs where you could experiment with your character. For example, if you had high charisma and intelligence, you can complete the entire game as a pacifist. And the fact that you can extend the deadline with water means you can explore the world more, do more quests and engage with the game on a greater level. I'm not trying to oversell you the game, it's all there. Some people may say that Fallout was not influential, but I disagree. There are so many great games it brought to us, such as Underworld, The Fall, Shadowrun Returns, Wasteland 2, Atom RPG, and others. Without the success of the original Fallout, all these games wouldn't have been released. So why not try it? Let's go back to the awesome roots of this highly influential and impactful franchise and see where it all started. It's all there. Brotherhood of Steel, Vaults, The Master, Super Mutants, random encounters, and everything else. It's all waiting for you in the year 2161. I think it is time to leave the vault of your consciousness and experience reality to the fullest. Thanks for watching.